Hi, welcome back to my channel. More importantly, welcome to my BL library. I am your BL librarian. Today we'll go through all the mail I received in September and check out all the BL manga, manhwa, manhwa, merch, and more. Before we dive in, it's worth noting that I'm not sponsored by anyone in this haul. These were all purchases made with my money. If you've been following my channel for a while, you may have noticed there was no haul for August. That is purposeful. Because I was traveling and attending CitrusCon in August, I had my mail withheld for a month. By the time I received everything, it was already September, so you're getting an extra large September haul. I hope you enjoy it. First up in our manga haul is Men of Tattoos, a one-shot. This is actually from a big haul I got from BuyAnime.com's $2.99 sale. It's all older manga, including many out-of-print June manga titles. I ended up ordering a second batch since I confirmed from this haul that they aren't some fake website scamming degenerates like myself. I am very excited to give this one a shot among all the others, but you'll see those soon. Stick around to see all the classic manga I added to my BL hoard. Next up is My Beautiful Man, Volume 1. I'm very excited to start this, but I want to read it after I read the novel. I love nothing more than comparing various iterations of the same story. I've heard amazing things about the story and I'm looking forward to it. Next up is The Troublesome Guest of Sotomura Detective Agency, a one-shot. I don't have much to say about this one. The art looks a bit sketchy and out of my comfort zone, which is a good thing. I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. Next is Our Not So Lonely Planet Travel Guide, Volume 5. I own this entire series and I have yet to start it. At this point, that's the story of my life. But this particular volume makes me really nervous about starting the series. Why? The cover art. The characters' eyes are so wide and strange looking, it makes me very uncomfortable. The art style has always seemed unique and intriguing to me, but the cover choice on this one almost scares me away. Don't worry, I've grown out of my quote, dropping something because of the art phase, but it still has me nervous. Next is Hate Me But Let Me Stay, Volume 1. If you haven't seen it yet, I've already done a first impression of this volume. I saw screenshots of this being passed around forever ago, and knowing it was a Megaverse with impreg and child rearing had me foaming at the mouth to read this one day. I even bought standees for this before I got to read it. Now that it's out, I've got to read it, and I'm completely satisfied with all of my purchases. I can't wait for future entries in this series. Next up is Crossplay Love, Otaku X Punk, Volume 9. I still haven't caught up with the series. I probably won't keep reading it until it's completed, but I'm really looking forward to it all the same. It's very cute. Next up is Hatsukoi Note Volume 1. I adore this cover. It's so raw and emotional that it's impossible not to want to read it. I anticipate pain, sorrow, and tragedy, and I'm ready to be forever altered by all of it. I'm not sure if the art will be to my taste, but it seems like it will be very expressive, and sometimes that's all that matters. Next up is After School Etude, Volume 1. I was super looking forward to this title, and I'm so glad I finally have it in my hands. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's about dancers. It just speaks to me. Next is Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, Volume 12. It's hard to believe this is still going, and based on what I could find, we can expect at least 3 more volumes after this one. I have yet to catch up, and with all of my one-shot and completed series piling up and waiting on review, this one might end up on the back burner until it's complete. I really love it though, so I'm still fighting with myself on that decision. I suppose we'll see. Next up is Takara's Treasure, a one-shot. Minta Suzumaru is one of my favorite creators of all time, so when I saw this was being published by none other than SuBLime, it was a no-brainer. I couldn't pre-order it fast enough. I fully intend to read and review this as soon as possible, so I hope y'all will be looking forward to that as much as I am. Next up, Turns Out My Online Friend Is My Real Life Boss, Volume 2. I still can't believe these volumes ended up being as big as they are because it didn't seem like they would be this long when I read them digitally. Now that both volumes are out, I look forward to reading the print version and seeing if anything has changed, then I'll finally get to review this big boy. Next is Link and Ring, a one-shot. I adore this title. I'm so glad Manga Planet is starting to release print versions of their titles, otherwise I don't know that I would have ever read this. This became one of my favorites instantly, and I'm so happy I can put it on my shelf. Next up is Rebirth, a one-shot. This is another Manga Planet release, and again, I'm so pumped to see more of their titles coming out in print, sending out all the good vibes that Beastorm will get this treatment one day. This one wasn't a favorite of mine necessarily, but it is a Megaverse, so admittedly, it's already got a leg up because of that. Regardless, it's a very unique title, and I highly recommend it. Next up is Restart, a one-shot. If you are excitedly waiting to see the rest of my classic manga haul, wait no longer. It's wild that all of these volumes were only $2.99 USD. I won't pretend every one of these excites me, but I look forward to them all the same. What I do like is that some of these come with freebies and nice dust jackets you don't see anymore. It's a nice touch, and I'm always happy to snag some out of print titles for cheap. Next up, and I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, Les Étoiles Solitaires, a one-shot. When you see a big old yaoi hand on the cover, you already know you're in for something interesting. This one is not very high on my list, but it's on it all the same. Next is Sign Kiss, a one-shot. We have what I presume to be a classic love triangle. The art doesn't intrigue me, but the story description does. We have a presumed unrequited love from one side, so the bottom decides to accept another's advances, only for the one he was pining for initially to confess. Could this be a cheater title? Those are typically hit or miss, but I'm always open to new, to me, titles. Next up is Barefoot Waltz, a one-shot. Now this is the one I was most excited about. I love the art style, and it seems to have what starts as a coworker romance that then moves into a time skip with some rekindling. I am intrigued to say the least. Of all the ones from the $2.99 haul, this is at the top. Next up, Lies and Kisses, a one-shot. This is the last I got of this particular classic manga haul. While it gives yaoi hand vibes, something about the smooth coloring on the cover speaks to me. I have no doubt there will be some interesting art choices here, but I'm looking forward to it all the same. Next up is Barbarities, Volume 4. I believe this is the last volume, which means this is now in the running for a review. It has such a unique style and character designs, so I'm pumped to finally have this on my review list. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am. Next up is Can an Otaku Like Me Really Be an Idol? A one-shot. I have reviewed this one already, and while I wouldn't say it was my cup of tea, it's hard to resist picking up a Kuma print. They are one of the few publishers that still put out manga with dust jackets, and they're always super high quality. Admittedly, I may end up giving this one away. Anyone out there that might be interested, let me know and comment below. And last, but certainly not least, How to Repair a Broken Cup, a one-shot. Now, this one is very interesting. It apparently has a time-traveling element to it, which I don't see very often in BL. It being only one volume makes me nervous, but after a quick look through, I'm honestly more pumped than nervous. I guess we'll see soon. First up for the Manhwa section, No Love Zone, Volume 1. I read and reviewed this manhwa a while back, and while the main story wasn't my favorite, the art, the child rearing, and the side stories stole my heart. I had to get the print release, and as expected of 7 Seas, it feels great. It's been a long time since I've read this one, so I'm intrigued to see how my feelings about it might have changed since reviewing so many other BL. I'm confident that this will still be fun, but I'm excited to find out for sure. And last of the manhwa section, Perfect Buddy, Volume 1. I started this manhwa, but dropped it in favor of other ongoing titles. It wasn't because it was bad or anything, I just read so much at once that sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. That said, I'm excited to pick this one back up, especially with a physical version out. It looks great, and I anticipate the story will be even better. And for the only thing in the Manhwa section, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, Volume 7. No surprise, this is stunning. I'll just keep it at that because at this point, I don't think I can say any more about these beautiful physical prints. As soon as the series is done, I will devour these volumes. First up in the comic section is Bloom and Zoom Volume 1. This is the start of the Hake haul. This is one of their ongoing titles at the moment, and it is hilarious. I think I love it even more than their main title that this spawned from, Your Wings and Mine. Admittedly, I'm a bit biased since I did edit this one, but still the art is great. The men are beefy, and it has that classic Hake humor. Doesn't get much better than that. Next up is Body, Soul, Heart, a one-shot. Once again, another Hake title. This is a Riku and Sora fan comic collection, and it transported me right back to the day when I got my copy of Kingdom Hearts and popped it into my PlayStation 2 for the first time. It feels good, and Hake's interpretation of Riku in particular is really fun and refreshes his character. I also edited this one, but I promise this is good. Next up, a Refreshing Summer, a one-shot. Finally, from my Hake haul, we actually have a Girls Love title. Yes, I know it's hard to believe, but I do read things that aren't BL. This might be my favorite of everything I got from Hake's shop. I love the characters and their designs, and the story speaks to that experience of someone leaving young adulthood and still not knowing what to do with their life. An experience many probably have, but isn't as represented in most media. These women are stunning, and I loved editing this one. Yes, I worked on this one too. It's good stuff, okay? Trust me. And last of the comic section, Sparks Volume 1. This is a bit of a curveball. I've seen this title retweeted on Twitter by a couple of other artists, and while the art doesn't immediately intrigue me, from what I've seen of the story, it seems really dramatic and interesting. I'm always up for something new from indie creators, and I'm looking forward to trying this one. First up in this very long novel section, Don't You Like Me, Volume 1. This cover speaks to me on a whole other level. Granted, I'm pretty biased toward illustrated covers in this style since my novels have their own. I know nothing about this title other than it's gorgeous, but that's all I need a lot of the time. I'm really looking forward to this one. Plus, this came with some extras. Who doesn't love some early pre-order bonuses? It's always worth it. Next up is Nanchan, Volume 1. Hardcovers have been a rarity on my shelves as of late, since most manga, manhwa, and the like are paperback and softcover. But lo and behold, Rosemary comes out with this gorgeous thing. It makes my heart soar seeing it, and it came with some extras for early pre-order, which I'm so happy I got. I'm a sucker for extras. Next up is My Beautiful Man, Volume 1. Here we have the novel that inspired the manga from the manga section. I love the art on this cover, and I must admit they look much better than the manga adaptation. Regardless of which cover I like more, I do intend to read this first over the manga. I've only heard amazing things, so the bar is super high. I'm excited. Next up is Guardian, Volume 3. We have the last volume of this series, and it came with lots of goodies. This haul really makes my BL gremlin brain happy with all of these extras. These only come with a special edition, and they are very beautiful. I've already started reading the series, and I love it. Next up, Ballad of Sword and Wine, Volume 2. This will be a silly complaint when the cover is still so beautiful, but this is a bit of a downstep from the first volume. I loved the reflective wine drips on that first one, and I was really missing them on this one. Don't get me wrong, it's still gorgeous, all Danmei covers are, but this one isn't my favorite in this particular series. And last, but certainly not least, Stars of Chaos, Volume 4. This is the last novel and book of the haul. It's pretty and it's thick, Danmei just never miss. First up in the merch haul, He Calls Me Every Night, Gaku and Sumito Acrylic Stand. I recently read and reviewed this title and ended up really enjoying it. While the first couple isn't necessarily my favorite, when I saw this standee of them, how could I say no? It's stunning. Yiggy Bean never misses with their merch, and I'm so happy they had some for this series. Next up, He Calls Me Every Night, Chibi Group Acrylic Stand. As I said, the main couple wasn't my favorite, so I wanted something to represent the second couple. They did have a big standee for them, but it was a half body, which I wasn't necessarily in love with. It's pretty, don't get me wrong, but I really wanted something full body. Thankfully, Yigi Bean has a chibi standee with both couples, which I felt was a decent second option. It's very cute. I like the first standee for the series more, but this has my favorite side couple, so it's pretty high up on my merch list. I'm very happy I could get some merch for the series. Next up is Bongchung Bride, Bongchun and Sungap acrylic stands. This is one of my favorite manhwa, and I was scouring the internet for some stands because I needed something physical to display my love for the series. Thankfully, Harumio was there to hook me up. These stands actually come in a set of 3, with our third being Piljeon. I hate Piljeon with a passion, so I decided not to get the full set. I'm also not a fan of alternate universe merch, which this is. They're from a historical title, and I would have loved to have gotten some stands of them in their usual garb, but I'm happy to have them regardless. Harumio keeps me fed. Next up is Smyrna and Capri acrylic stand. Brothers Without a Tomorrow and I have always had a contentious relationship. I avoided reviewing many of their titles for a long time because I hated the art style of their early work. They have, however, really grown and changed for the better, and this title is the epitome of their work as far as I'm concerned. I adore it so much, and I had to get some merch to show my love for it. As expected, the art on the standee is super detailed, and it's probably one of the prettiest things I own. It's a gorgeous Harumio purchase that was well worth every penny spent. And last, but certainly not least, our Sunny Days seal plushie. As I've mentioned a few times in other posts and in videos, I attended CitrusCon last month, and one of the best parts about the convention was the artist alley, of which I was a part with my novels. As I was making my way around the virtual artist alley, I found this amazing plushie by Enchanted Vex. Jung Seok-chan is my favorite manhwa creator of all time, and this seal represents one of the main characters from one of their ongoing titles that I am loving. I love plushies, but they aren't the most common type of merch for BL titles, so when I saw this, how could I possibly say no? I actually had to buy this plushie twice because my puppy Aster also really loved the first one and ended up sneaking away with it. While I wasn't happy about that, this plushie was well worth another purchase. So all's well that ends well. Aster has his own BL plushie skin, and I have my whole one. I adore this. With all that being said, this is everything I got in September. It was really fun sharing what I got with you guys. If you'd like to see more for the rest of the year, let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!